Mm. Mm. Hi guys, how you doing? Just a little pre-show action. Me and Dougie here, sitting here. I don't even know if you can see Doug because I don't have this thing here. Oh, there we go.
White screen.
Now we can see Dougie. I can see Dougie, but I couldn't see Dougie. So anyway, we're just getting ready here, just getting ready to start the show live on YouTube tonight and simulcasting over to. If you want to catch us on Facebook, we're there too. And we got lots to talk about. A little local flavor tonight. Not too much. We'll do some national stuff, but for the most part, we're just kind of kicking it and doing our thing with the local crew tonight. So hopefully that goes out really good for you guys, and hope it's going to be a good show. So got a couple minutes to spare here. Trying to figure out how to do something on my soundboard. So we're gonna do it up here pretty soon. So I think I got it. I think I have it. I think I did it somewhere in there. That's what I have to do. Anyhow, so I'm still learning some of the ropes on some of this stuff and learning how to be able to simulcast and stream stuff and all that good stuff. So bear with me. We will have a good time tonight. We got a good show going on. Like I said, we're going to talk about some local flavor, and we'll mix a little national news up there because a lot of stuff has happened. And I promise we won't play the
musical desk.
The musical desk tonight. All right, so we're going to sign off here, and then we're going to go live. Take this main gain and bring it down, and that way we won't backfeed into the monitors. So yeah. So just as soon as the intro's over, then we can then just hit it real quick. This one, just like that. We're good.
Otherwise, they'll be hearing us outside.
Well, otherwise, my intro, I'm using the mics to do the intro. Hopefully, it picks it up pretty good for the YouTube. It'll always record the intro, but on the YouTube, it's a little bit different. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, we got to get it off the monitors. I haven't learned how to put the music inside it yet, but okay, we're gonna go live here pretty soon, man. It's about that time. Let's just freaking do it and say, hey, let's go. From the bottom up. That's right. We must do Thursday night. We have Bruce and Doug, the Leather Soul, the Leather Soul podcast, live from First Stone Production Studios in Gilroy, California, with no rules, no regulations, and completely unfiltered. Well, without further ado, here is Bruce and Doug. What's going on, Dougie?
Same old, same old.
You like that intro?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I whipped that up in about 15 seconds. It was pretty cool.
Right on. One take?
One take. No, it took a couple takes.
A
couple of takes. I'm not sure we're going to use it. You know, we'll try one with your voice. I think the best voice we have will be Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Eddie's got the total radio voice. So
yeah.
He's hopefully he'll be back soon. He's living down south right now, so he's not up here right now. In probably a week or so, he'll be back up here for at least the next 4 shows. I think something like that he'll do on Thursday nights. How's it going, man?
It's going well.
Good.
Going well. You know, it goes.
Yeah. We're Friday Eve.
It is Friday Eve.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a good weekend.
Yeah,
a nice weekend without rain.
Yeah,
for one thing, one thing or another lately. So
nice and sunny, so the grass will grow.
It was nice. It was terrible winter. That 2 weeks was terrible. That was the worst winter we have ever had in California.
I kind of enjoyed it. Personally.
Anyway, so hey, welcome to the Weathered Soul podcast, and you got Bruce and Doug here, and we're going to talk about all kinds of things today, and just what's on the agenda before we just start talking between me and Doug, like we just were, is that we're going to talk about, of course, the shutdown a little bit, and then we'll talk about people going to Mexico. You would be surprised the caravan that's going to Mexico from the U.S. And then a couple of local news items. Yasichi Farms, a big farm here in Gilroy, is closing down, and also St. Louis Hospital has been the sale of St. Louis Hospital has been blocked by the Attorney General. So not sure where that's going to go, but yeah, dude, it's been a good day. It's been a good day. Been a good week. And looking forward to this weekend, man. We're going to go to the barn. We're going to go see, we're going to go see Good Night or Good Night Moonshine.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I have it up right here. I swear I do. I just don't know where I put it. But we're going to go see Good Night Moonshine at this place called the Barn, and it's a real fun place. And do yourself a favor if you're ever looking for something to do, just go to like any of your Eventbrite or something like that, and just look in your city, and I'll bet you'll find a house concert, and those are fun to go to. And we got this little house concert called the Barn, and we're gonna go see a real good band this weekend. I'm gonna cook up some ribs before we go and smoke some ribs, since it's gonna be nice outside, nice and warm outside. Do a little gardening. I'm a big gardener. I like to garden. How about you, man? What's up with your garden this year?
Well, there's always gardening to do. We have quite a crop of oranges this year.
Nice.
So expect some oranges soon.
Nice.
We've been picking, and our Meyer lemons.
We have lemons also.
Nicely ripened, so it may be limoncello season soon.
Right. Yeah, we have a bounty of lemons ourselves. So
yeah. It's a good year for citrus.
Yeah,
they're not huge, but there's a lot of them.
I still got those 2 trees in the pots, and they're just not doing too well. So the lemon had lemons on it. We had one orange, and I guess it froze or whatever, but it wasn't. It was rock hard when it ripened up. So
I have a lime tree in a pot, and it does really well, but you have to feed it. It's root bound, so
yeah,
it's almost like hydroponics now. Yeah,
I think that's what it is, because I was,
you have to feed it almost every time you water it.
Yeah. Gardening's weird. You got to keep up on it. And I'm just looking forward to doing it again this year, because that's one of my hobbies that I have. It's, I got to do it, and then I need a plant. So
in a week or so, we'll have our trees trimmed, and then I'll get an idea of how much light my yard will have, and then I'll decide on what and where I'm going to plant.
Okay.
For vegetables.
Okay. So, see, I got that all timed now. So I got a date that when the sun is at the bottom of my shed, which is right before it hits the boxes, and then I have a date for when it's all the way full. So from, I think it's sometime in February, like February 12th or something like that. The sun's right at the bottom of my shed, and then the upper box is in the sun all the time. And if you don't know, I'm a gardener. I love to garden. I've got this great big vegetable garden out in the backyard, and at the same, right next to it is what we call the garden, which is my house concert spot. And I wanted to announce that tonight also, is that the Night in the Garden concert series coming up. May 18th is the first one. And if you're interested, if you're here in the South Bay, because I actually I boosted this out to all the surrounding communities here today on Facebook, and got the word out, and hope some people got the word out and join me. The podcast goes on every Thursday. And we're going to keep doing it. But anyway, the Night in the Garden concert series is coming up. May 18th is the first one. If you want to be a part of that Night in the Garden concert series, all you got to do is send me an email at brucetheweatheredsoul@gmail.com. That's brucetheweatheredsoul@gmail.com. And I'll put you on the guest list, and I'll send you out an Eventbrite for the event. And you can come see a very good band in Blue House, who will be the headliner. And another gentleman will be opening up for him. Excuse me, that would be Fenny, Cook and Fenny. God, I had a brain fart there. So Cook and Fenny will be opening, and the Blue House Band will be headlining. But we have 3 shows. I still don't have a headliner for the August show, and the September show will be Michael Gaither and his new best friends, and we're looking forward to having that available. So if you want to sign up for the concerts and be on the newsletter, just go to brucetheweatheredsoul@gmail.com, and I'll get you on the email list. Cool.
Right. And if anybody's interested in more information about the bands that you mentioned, they can look at their websites and see the type of music that they play. It's usually folk music,
Yep.
Amplified acoustic, maybe electric bass, a little percussion. It's pretty mellow, and it's a nice evening. The music's not so loud that you can't have a conversation with your friends.
The venue's
very
nice.
laid back. Yeah.
If I do say so myself, the venue is very nice.
It is. It's well hosted.
Absolutely. So got this. I want to talk about the wall. I thought I wanted to talk about the shutdown. I think I want to talk about the wall real quick, because I've got something that melds into that. And this shutdown and the wall thing, dude, is just freaking outrageous. It's going crazy.
Yeah.
It's grown legs of its own now, and now it's like, I don't think we've ever been here before.
No, this is new territory.
This is new territory for us. So it's just like, wow, I'm just kind of like about it. But this wall thing is outrageous, man.
I can't see the strategy on either side. I just don't understand. Is it just a game they're playing, this in contest, or do they actually have an end game? A plan. They have a sight for what the end of this is going to be, or is it just?
Well, I want to
move on to the next.
I want to call it a power play.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it definitely is a political power play, but at this stage of the game, you got to ask yourself, what is the end game? Seriously, because they're getting into their second paycheck, and I'm not going to admonish anybody for not having their money, because some people, if you got a paycheck in you, cool, but if you don't have 2 paychecks in you, now you're starting to sweat.
The mayor of San Jose passed a resolution today.
Yeah,
landlords cannot evict renters who can't pay their rent because of
the
government shutdown.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Or government employees, not the collateral damage, just the direct employees.
That would be the first one. So the collateral damage. They gather very fast if it's a handout. So, but so this wall thing is the way I look at it right now is that I'm not for the wall. I never was for the wall. But in the same token, even if I was for the wall and had to support what Trump is doing, if I had to, I couldn't support him right now, because he said his promise was, he's trying to keep a promise, number one, and he's trying to do principle with it. But I don't care anyway how you slice it or how you look at it, upside down, sideways, on top, whatever. Mexico's not paying for this wall. And if he was making Mexico pay for the wall, I'd say, okay, cool, whatever.
Then it would not be an issue.
It would not be an issue. But so this whole freaking wall thing is stupid to me. But now with this tug of war of power over, Trump's not going to step down from the wall. And I think the last report I saw an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, that he was kind of compromising, wants a down payment on the wall now or something. So I don't know what he's doing, but I don't think he's going to back down from the wall. And then on the same token, I think my opinion is that Trump should get his wall Give them the freaking money for the fucking wall. Open up the government. Agree to what you're going to agree to, whatever, and then open up the government, and then do what the Dems do best, and they go out and they go find themselves a federal judge and slap an injunction on the whole freaking wall thing. Case closed, tied up in court till it goes to freaking Supreme Court. I mean, it's at least there's an end game there.
Right. That's gaslighting, but that's one way out of it.
But at least there's an end game there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm all for gaslighting as long as it takes care of a situation that is at hand. I mean, for some gaslighting, I mean, not all. I mean, there's a lot of gaslighting that's ridiculous, but I mean, we're at this, you know, and it's starting to get a little out of hand for everybody. I'm starting to get tired of it, and you know, I support a lot of his policies, but this is being ridiculous, and I think that honestly, I think he should just give up the fucking wall. That's my personal freaking opinion. So he just give up the wall.
I think he should open the government, and then whatever the hell else he wants to do, he can do. And he wants to keep fighting for his wall. He can make that his, you know, his monument issue, right? Because that's really what he wants. He wants a monument to himself, and he can't build a Trump Tower on the wall. Yeah, how about we just build a? How about you just build a big long line of Trump condominiums? That'll keep him out.
I think another thing you do is you just make one of those posts that they're going to be in the fence, right? Make that one post $5.7 million, and go, here's your $5.7 million wall. Bang.
Yeah.
All right. Next, let's go back to work. Yeah. Anyhow,
and look, you know, in the you know, main ports of entry where I have been, right? You know, I've been to Texas, I've been to New Mexico, I've been to Arizona, I've been to California, I've been to the. You have barbed wire, you have a concrete trench, you have more barbed wire, you have another fence and another fence, and you have lights, and you have motion detectors, you have microwave detectors. It's just bloody unbelievable. Right. They still don't work.
I've seen right under them. I've seen pictures of some of the places that the wall is, you know, with the barbed wire and the triple. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well fortified, and they're tunneling under it anyway. But you know, you can give me a million reasons of why we need a fence or why a fence is effective, and I give you a million reasons why we shouldn't have a fence, and we should just, you know, just. I don't want to say comprehensive immigration reform, but we need to stop with all the I mean, there's laws on top of laws, just making it impossible to immigrate. And for the most part, the only thing that I say that's controversial on the way I feel about immigration is just that I think that is that we should be stern in our immigration policy, you know, about who comes in and who doesn't. I mean, you know, there's a line, but that line to me is, do you want to work? Do you want to be, you know, assimilated into American life? And do you want to just be free? And I think that's pretty much my criteria. I mean, you know, there's, you know, unless you're going to come off here and suck off the government, you know, there's no job for that except for sitting at home getting a check. Whether that happens or not quickly, it's irregardless. But most of them I've ever known, you know, they're making good money here. You know, and that's why they come here, because, you know, they can send half that money home or whatever. And and you know, we can have this talk all day, but I want to talk about the other side of the wall, our side of the wall, and how some people are not kind of migrating over, but, you know, taking lots of trips to Mexico lately. And well, the reason why, and you don't know about this because I didn't tell you, the Americans are going over the border, Tijuana and other border towns and stuff like that, because they have more dentists, and the dental care is supposed to be very cheap and very good, from what I understand.
As long as you pay cash.
As long as you pay cash.
Yeah.
So a lot of senior citizens and stuff take the trip, you know, down to the border and go to those places and get their health. What they're saying, actually, in the article I was watching, let's see where it is. It's right here. It says millions of Americans flood into Mexico for healthcare, the human caravan that you haven't heard about. So, The Trump administration is trying to convey the panic that there's an immediate crisis to the southern border, pointing to caravans of desperate people who have traveled thousands of miles. And it's true that Latin and Central Americans are coming to the U.S. fleeing violence and poverty, much of it is destructive to the U.S. trade policy over the course of decades. But there's another massive border crossing phenomena afoot. And Trump has not said a word about it. And we're talking about the thousands of U.S. citizens crossing the border each day in search of affordable health care. At just one checkpoint in Yuma, Arizona, up to 6,000 Americans cross the border every day, entering the bustling Mexican town of Las Algodones, seeking health care. And unlike the Trump administration that seeks to build a wall between the countries, Las Algodones welcomes Americans seeking dental care with open arms. In the city has been said to believe that there is more dentists per capita than anywhere else in the world. It seems like every square foot of public space and wall is covered with advertisements promising quality and affordable care, vision care, and prescription drugs. The community and the economy is built to serve the flood of dental refugees, mostly senior citizens from the U.S. and Canada, seeking dental care that they cannot afford in their own countries, even with insurance. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, it's not unbelievable.
That's funny, but the same thing happens from Canada into the U.S.
Exactly.
Because they can't afford it, because they're too tired of waiting for it.
Right.
Little cosmetic things.
Right.
When you're socialized medicine, you got a chipped tooth. They're like, you can live with a chipped tooth.
Yeah. But I caught it. I looked at it and I went like, no way. And I got it from a friend of mine, and then I went a couple other places because I just don't pick and choose, these news stories. I got to look and see some sources, and it's very well sourced out. It's a fact that that's happening. So you're not going to get any fake news here. I'm not going to give you any fake news. We're about the truth around here.
I think, the first time I went to Mexico was in the early 80s. And I can remember even being a young kid. I mean, I was still just a kid. I don't know, maybe I was 21 or something. I remember all of the pharmacies, like being impressed with, like once you get off of the main drag where all of the shops you buy little leather goods and things are, right? And you go down the alley and then you turn on the next street. It's like all pharmacies. And I always wondered why. And it's, people are saying, yeah, you can buy anything you want here for next to nothing. What would cost you $1 a pill in the US is going to be a penny a pill here.
Right.
And then they would start saying, but then you don't know the quality. They don't have the FDA, blah, 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 blah. So you take your chances. You pay your dime, you take your chances.
Well, I don't think we're missing the FDA here first on the shutdown anymore. So
yeah, well,
I've heard plenty of reports of other places that the companies are really they want to cover their ass, so they're not counting on the FDA or the USDA to be doing most of their inspections. They have private inspectors that come in and do their inspections. So I'm not too worried about the FDA not being at work right now. But yeah, it beckons me to say that the free market works, at least down there in that Mexico border town. And something that really hit me too was there was another report last week that the president of Mexico, the new president of Mexico, is going to make, or is trying to make, the 50 miles just outside the U.S. border is going to be like a tax-free corporation zone that he wants to make. So he can,
brilliant.
Yeah. So, anybody can come here and just
Brillante.
Yeah, brillante.
Definitely. Yeah.
And that would be his economic wall.
Yeah.
So he can really poke, he could poke Trump in the eye and go like, yeah, I'm just going to make the first 50 miles of my freaking land, coming into Mexico. That's all commercial free zone. Or come in here and build your factories. Yeah, we're not gonna charge you any taxes or whatever like that. So he's got a smart thing going. I think I like that idea very much. But the free market is working there. I mean, he's gonna figure it out. I mean, Mexico is figuring it out. There's no doubt about it. they're not a third world country, but they're definitely, you know, moving up the ladder there. So I hope that all happens, and I hope this freaking shutdown's freaking done, man. Really pissing me off. I'm kind of done with it already.
Yeah, very much done with it. And you know, it's getting more and more intense. You listen to the news reports about, you know, letters from all these various government agencies saying, hey, we can't do our jobs aren't getting done, and you know, the people, the citizens are being endangered because of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It doesn't, you know, the papers are saying no time soon. So.
Well, I caught a little blurb on the news right before I came over here, and you know, they showed the senior senator from Colorado actually screaming the top of his lungs after Ted Cruz gave his crocodile tears about the Coast Guard not getting paid. He's like, my state is flooded. There are people that are dying. There's you know, the government is shut down, and these businesses are gone. You know, it's like you don't care. You don't care. You don't. You know, it's like they really don't get it.
Yeah. Well, back on the healthcare issue is that we have something happening here in Gilroy that caught me by surprise, and has to do something very, very close to me, and that's healthcare availability in general in the town that you live in. And when I moved down here to Gilroy, I mean, we moved down here out of necessity because we needed to, you know, buy a house, and we couldn't afford a house in San Jose, so we came back down here to. Actually, we just couldn't. Not that we couldn't afford it, we couldn't find one in San Jose at the time, and everybody was buying cash, and we weren't cash. Came down here and considered Gilroy, and one of the reasons why we considered Gilroy is because they had a hospital here, so we knew that there was, you know, some place close by that we can get there within, you know, a couple minutes. And you know that, you know, I have a special needs son, and he's ended up in that hospital, and we almost lost him this year, and it was kind of a touch and go situation, and I credit the St. Louis Regional Hospital for his recovery. I mean, because if they weren't there and I had to take him down to San Jose or up to San Jose, it would have probably been a tragedy. Probably would have lost him. But so the Attorney General Becerra has been Verity, or excuse me, let me start out by Verity Health runs St. Louis Hospital, and they own a bunch of hospitals, and Verity's not doing very good. They want to close down some hospitals or stuff like that, and they also want to sell some hospitals. And St. Louis Regional Hospital and O'Connor Hospital in San Jose have been up on the block for sale. So the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center wants to buy them out. So all of a sudden, you know, Becerra doesn't like the idea, I guess, of how the Valley Health Plan is done. I mean, Anthony has it. I love it. It's the best healthcare you can buy. You know, your money can buy, and I mean by your money, by taxpayer, because Anthony's healthcare is paid by the taxpayer. And it just scares me because, you know, if you lose that hospital, I mean, there's 55,000 people here now in Gilroy. There's 35, 40,000 people in Morgan Hill, something like that. And then I'm sure it serves Hollister, because I don't think Hollister has a hospital. I'm not
Depends
sure
on what side of Hollister, because at that point,
yeah. So we got a little bit of
Salinas.
Hollister to deal with. So that's kind of a large population without a major hospital near you to take care of you if you need to, and kind of scary. So I don't know where this Attorney General is coming in.
The air ambulance service is out of St. Louis.
Exactly, and then if we lose that, I mean, that's kind of a central point for everything.
I mean, it's a private company, but that's where they're based.
Right, exactly. We'll lose that. So I mean, there's a lot riding on this thing. So I mean, I don't know what the Attorney General is thinking. I mean, because if push comes to shove, you know, Verity can just, in their own right, just close down the hospital if it wants to, if it's losing that much money. And I mean, that's kind of scary when you think about it. I don't know what else can happen there, but we need to have healthcare available to you, not just affordable healthcare, but healthcare in general. Because if you're, like I said, we're in a housing crisis. There's not enough affordable housing here. Like you said, when we discussed this yesterday a little bit, you were talking about, the fact that we're inviting people here to come live here, but the infrastructure is going away. So I got a concern about that. What's your view?
Well, I don't know all of the facts of the the deal that Valley Med is proposing, but it would be a tragedy if we lost our hospital. It would be a big tragedy, and another thing that really kind of takes me a little bit by surprise is that they're not profitable. I really don't see how healthcare can't be profitable today. I mean, there's hospitals charge as much as the insurance company is willing to pay.
No, it's the other way around.
Well,
it's the other way around. There's
the insurance companies tell the hospitals how much they can charge, and if it costs the hospital less than that, they're still going to charge that amount.
Yeah,
you can get a procedure done at St. Louis, have the same procedure done at, say, Valley Med.
Kaiser Valley Med.
Yeah, not Kaiser. I don't know what their prices are, but one would cost $20,000 and one would cost $1,500.
Right.
The same procedure.
Yes.
Right, because
I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Geographical locations, and I understand the whole thing.
Yeah. For instance, getting a CAT scan done, a CT scan.
Oh yeah, that's outrageous.
So you try to have that done at the hospital, your deductible costs more than if you go to one of the service bureaus and pay cash.
There, other than that, number one, insurance. And then another thing I think is it could be, the all the unions that are involved in running the hospital too. It's not that I'm anti-union. It's just that, they do have their impact on pricing and wages and stuff like that. And I don't have any problem with wages. If they don't make enough, then they can negotiate to make more. But if they don't make too much, it doesn't matter.
Well,
but a hospital should be able to survive on what it charges, and the insurance, they work hand in hand. And it sounds to me like things aren't working hand in hand anymore, at least for something. So either the group Verity, is doing something wrong with their hospitals, the way they manage them, or whatever the case may be. And maybe the county of Santa Clara has the same problem. I don't know. I'm not intimate with the county of Santa Clara. I really don't like this. I mean, if you have to be on the Valley Healthcare plan, it's a very good healthcare plan because they pay for a lot of things. I mean, it's just, there's no deductible, especially for Anthony. But the system itself is broken in there that they're efficient. I mean, their emergency rooms are always full, but they got a beautiful campus. I mean,
the emergency rooms are full because nobody has a primary doctor to go to.
This is true. All healthcare starts in the emergency room and urgent care now. That aside is, I'm not going to put that aside because that's true. They have migrated that stuff into micro offices, or what do you want to call it, micromanaging, your healthcare now, to where you don't have to.
Right. Independent people like contractors, if they can't afford healthcare, it's not provided by their boss, or they can't afford to pay them, buy it for themselves.
Yeah.
The emergency room is their doctor.
Yeah.
And it's like they have to. It's like you can walk right into the emergency room and say, hi, I broke my arm, fix it for me, and I'm not going to pay you. And they still have to fix it for you.
That is true. Right. And I think that's the thing that's what the county is that's what happens a lot, and because the county, they're going to take whoever, whomever,
right.
But they do have their own.
And that's one of the things about
and they do have their own patients, like, Anthony with Valley Health Plan and stuff. And thank God that St. Louis, regional takes his insurance, because, without that, he's got nothing. Right. So but even if it does change to the county system and it gets a little bit less efficient, I'm willing to have that, just to have healthcare here.
Right. And on the other hand, if you had to have a major procedure done, Okay.
Mhm.
A hernia repair.
Right.
Right. My doctor is here in Gilroy. He's affiliated with St. Louis, but we went to Valley Med to have it done. All right. My adrenal gland operation. My doctor's affiliated with O'Connor.
Right.
But we went to Stanford to have it done.
Okay.
Sorry, there's small hospitals. They don't attract the star doctors.
Right.
Right? They don't have the robots and all that
Well,
stuff.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we've only been to St. Louis in an emergency situation with Anthony, of course, and they've been able to do everything that they need to do with Anthony. So he's still alive. He's still here. Thank God he's still here, and every day we do. So, but going along with that is that Gilroy's growing. Every place I know right now. Oh, excuse me. Every place around right now is that has a free spot open. Looks like they're getting ready to build on it. So, we're getting a lot of housing, a lot of low-income housing that we got some apartment complexes that are going up. That are going to be the I guess what they call that residential retail, where you have the residential on the top and on the first floor is all retail. So they got a couple of those going in.
The retail supplements the rent for the
something like that. And, they're very close to downtown and very close to. I think they're getting ready for the rail to come through. I mean that infrastructure will be done, by the time they lay their first high-speed rail, here at all, if they ever do. But I think the infrastructure is getting done. I think Gilroy's doing a good job on doing that. But one of our farms is going away, or excuse me, another farm of ours is going away, and UCG Farms has harvested its last crop. So coming out of the Gilroy newspapers, like the large, well-known family-owned vegetable producer with operations in California, Santa Clara, Contra Costa, San Benito, and other counties, and Mexico, is selling off all its equipment and winding down its operations. And there will be no spring planting of its Napa cabbage, peppercorn, or squash crops. Due to market conditions and factors outside of its control, UCG Farms has made a difficult decision to wind down its operations at the conclusion of the 2018 fall harvest season, and the family said in a posting this winter. So this farm has been around for a long time. I think it says UCG bought the original the farm from the owners back in 1979. So apparently it's always been agricultural land out here. So I'm sure other families has owned it, but they're pretty big around here. I mean, UCG Farms, they put on a lot of events. They got a pumpkin patch and all kinds of things that they do. They're very, very open with the community, and
they weren't very clear. Are they just closing their Santa Clara operations, or everything?
They weren't very clear on it. That's true. I've looked at the newspaper article again, and I can't decipher for that at all. It sounds to me, because there was a post in Facebook today, and this is how I found out about it. UCG came back out after a couple of people had shared the article, and they said, don't worry, that the pumpkin patch that they have, the pumpkin patch and the corn maze, they've got this little kind of amusement place where you can do a pumpkin patch and stuff like that. It's down on Monterey Road, and they do that every year. They said it'll be back for 2019. They didn't speculate for 2020, but I'm assuming this is probably last year that they're going to do it. But it sounds to me like they're gone. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And the bad part about it is that every place that they have a farm gone, they're putting houses on it. So like Rancho 101, where they're starting all that housing development out there, that was I don't know whose farm that was. Do you remember whose farm that is?
Well, it was all part of Rancho 101.
Rancho 101, but who was
a conglomerate?
Yeah, well, was a conglomerate of. Okay, so they sold out. So yeah, and then a couple little farms I've seen around here that are just gone under. And
well, yeah. You know how much? Do you know how much corn you have to grow per acre to equal the value of the land?
Yeah, well, they were doing mostly strawberries and garlic and pumpkins and lettuces and so stuff like that. But
I mean, my house is built on an old plum orchard.
Yeah, I have no idea what this was. I heard
the old guys in my neighborhood, like when I was a teenager, I used to pick plums right here.
I'm not sure what was here. I know that I'm on top of a pond. I'm on top of an ancient top of an ancient pond.
Yeah.
But along with that story is that if they do, I mean, the location where they're actually shutting down, that we'll see the bulk of the shutting down, is right on that entrance into Gilroy, where the two towers are right there. And I just look at that as kind of being like where Gilroy's going. It's going to go out that way. So probably won't be too long before they start thinking about maybe building on that or something like that. Unless another farm system buys them out. But I can't see anybody that's looking to buy any farms right now, especially with this tariff stuff. But again, if they do start building on that and building out there, then we got a bigger population, which just extenuates that problem that we have with the hospital going down. And so just never know what's going on, dude. It's getting scary out there.
Yeah, well, that's on the other hand too, right? If there's if there's a market for it, if the hospital goes away, what we're going to have are urgent care centers.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
just someplace you go to, and if you're in really bad shape, maybe they can help you until the ambulance gets there.
Get you until the ambulance gets there. That's kind of a scary situation. I've never been in a place that never had a hospital like very, very far.
Out in Salmon, Idaho. All right, we were going to try to retire my wife's parents out there, and it's a nice town. It's a really nice town. It's very bucolic. It's sort of like Mayberry. I mean, everybody's friendly. You walk down the street, strangers say howdy and all that sort of stuff. The kids are playing in the river next to behind the malt shop, and it's very beautiful. But it's a 3-hour drive in either north or south, and you can't go east or west because of mountains, to the nearest hospital. And that that was a big factor. Right. So that was, that was a reason why, we didn't go there. But once again, there was a need, and there was a small clinic open that then grew and grew and grew and actually became a small hospital.
There you go. Yeah,
right. Well, and so now the people there do have, a place where they if they have to have surgery, there's surgeons. If a broken leg or whatever, there's a place where they can spend the night and recover, and that sort of stuff. But before that, there was nothing. There was Doc Joe down the road, and if he couldn't help you, then you got in the car and you drove 3 hours. Period. Right. So there's a lot of people that live that way. They're used to it, but still, it's scary, and it could cause death.
Could cause death, man.
Yeah,
there's always death.
It's scary. It's like in this day and age with all the technology we have. 100 years ago, all right, so he broke his leg and got gangrene and died. That sucks. But today, that's unacceptable. Right?
Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But the main thing is try to understand why the AG would block the sale, right? Is there a reason for that? Is Valley Med have some proposal that's not acceptable?
One thing that I did hear from Becerra was something about a certain standard that has to be met, and apparently Santa Clara Valley Medical Center or the company itself hasn't met this standard, and
how could they not meet their facility? They're 2 other facilities, or 3 other facilities. They're some of the best in the valley.
I don't know. That's what I think. I'm going we're like Stanford. I mean, geez, really?
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. But it is what it is. I mean, I just don't know. So I crawled down a rabbit hole.
Well, we've been through this before.
Yeah.
With St. Louise.
Yeah. Oh, well,
The sisters of whatever were
bought up by Verity.
Yeah. When that was happening.
That happened like right after I got here, right?
Yeah,
2000
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, well, I made a promise and I broke my promise.
What was that?
Well, a couple weeks ago, I went dark on my Facebook page. And,
really?
Yeah. It's like trying to take a chunky away from the needle, dude. I can't do it. I made it for about a week. So I went back on and I crawled down a rabbit hole again. Just say, I don't believe it.
No, I believe it. That's why you do it.
So
I need my rabbit hole.
I got to talk about it. I'm not going to say a name, but T, I'm not a racist, dude. I don't know what your problem is, but I'm not a racist. So, but I'll share the post with you. And if you really want to follow me, I mean, you can go to Bruce McGee and type my name in. If I think you're cool, then I'll let you be my friend and let you freaking follow me. But if you really want to follow, the Weathered Soul podcast, and because I post most of my stuff there, and you can go to at the Weathered Soul podcast, or excuse me, at Bruce the Weathered Soul. I think that's what it is. I lost my place. And let me get that for you. It's at Bruce the Weathered Soul. And you can get there just typing it into your Facebook search engine. You can get right to the page. You can join the page, and you can hear all the outrageous stuff that I say online, and how I get the rabbit holes going. Also, you can follow us at the Weathered Soul podcast.libsyn.com. You can hear me and Doug. That's where I'll be. So I'm all over the place, and we're on all the popular podcast sites and everything else. So
I'm nowhere, just here.
Yeah, Doug is boycotting Facebook. I think he always has.
Right, and was never interested in any of the other social media. I'm sorry, I can't get a full thought out in 164 characters.
So I posted because there's the MAGA hat with the Native American elder and the kid from Covington Catholic School and the black Israelites or whatever. Controversy, you never hear about black Israelites, but anyway, this controversy about the MAGA hats now, the Make America Great Again hats, and I am just, you know me, I love to stir the shit. So I wrote, I said, obviously, or something to that fact. I already hit it on I was tired of dealing with it, so I just hit it on my news feed. You can't even see it anymore because I really don't want anybody to see it. But I said the mainstream media or the public or social media or whoever have already made this color red, the phrase MAGA, and a hat a sign of racism. And it struck me as weird because it's another inanimate object. It's just an object. And because I feel that just as much as the pussy hat movement, with women's rights and stuff like that, that seed was planted in a good way. And I think Make America Great Again, if you slice it into what it's supposed to mean, not Trump's version, but Make America Great Again, that's a good seed. And I think that it's been bastardized, and I think it's been sensationalized. And now this whole controversy with whatever happened at the Lincoln Memorial, whether it be staged or whether it be the truth, this or that, whatever. I mean, the fact is that this thing's an inanimate object. Red is associated with Republicans, and we're bad now.
So is the swastika, and
the
so
swastika,
is the American eagle.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, they're icons.
They're icons,
yeah.
And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, would I ever wear a MAGA hat? No, because I don't identify with having to wear a hat to show you who I am or what I believe in. if you talk to me for 5 minutes, you're going to know what I'm all about.
I don't think I don't agree with the message on the hat, because I don't think that America needs to be made great again. America is America.
Yeah, America is
and
America.
It's what we make of it. and if you think it's great, it's great. If you don't think it's great, it's not great.
Right.
But if you don't think it's great, then it was never great.
Yeah.
So you're not going to make it great again.
Right.
If you think it's great, it was always great. So there's no need to make it great again.
Yeah, hey, there you go. There's a view by Doug.
Color commentary.
Color commentary at its best. That's why I have him here. But I went down this rabbit hole, and it's unfortunate because another Facebook follower, acquaintance of mine, because I can't call him a friend. I've actually never met the guy, but I'll call him T. And we have had this dialogue for about the last year that we've been cross-posting each other on each other's posts. And for some reason, he thinks I called him a racist for a phrase that I wrote to him. I don't even know what the phrase is anymore, but it had to do with, people relating to each other, and he doesn't know that, I have a mixed family. So that's another thing he doesn't know. Well, he knows now because I told him. But we went down this road about the hats and this and that, and the way that he was treated because he's a black man and I'm white. I can never understand. No, I can't understand. He can't understand how it is to be a white guy. I mean, whether there's privilege there or not, it doesn't matter. I can't be him and he can't be me. I can't walk a mile in your shoes, Doug, because, I'm not sure what your shoes involve, and you can't walk a mile in mine, no matter how good we know each other. Yeah. But when it comes to a difference of opinion, even and not about the color of your skin, but just by the insinuation of your words, all of a sudden that you're painted a racist. And that's what I got from him. He never outright called me a racist, but the tones of everything that's involved in the wording that he said was insinuating that I had a problem. So
this is why one of the main reasons why I stay away from social media.
Yeah.
I have my opinions. I'm very opinionated. And I like to pontificate. When I get on a roll, I won't shut up.
Absolutely.
But it is very, very difficult to clearly state your true thoughts in words
without being labeled.
No,
I don't want to say racist. I don't want to say racist or racist. I want to say discriminatory. And that's the way I told him. I says, yes, I'm discriminatory.
Because the person reading it is reading it in their mind, not
right
from your mouth.
Exactly. And not from my emotion or my thoughts or anything like that.
From their experience.
Yeah, from their experience.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But
that's
what I'm trying to convey is that we're all discriminatory. And that one hurt. We're going to have to get that one out of there.
Yeah, you could.
Everybody's discriminatory.
You should have known better than to think that I was thinking that way.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah.
You insulted me.
I mean, come on.
You should know me better than that. I don't think that way. Period.
We wouldn't have this outrage culture if we didn't have that response, right?
That's true. That's almost programmed now, right? I mean,
yeah. So that's how we're programmed now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can understand, but I mean, there's a limit to, what do I say, being passive aggressive in the way that we text and talk and debate online. And I love to debate. I mean, I really don't want to stop. And that's kind of the reason why I got back onto my page again, is I love to debate. But, I'm cynical. I'm factual. I think I'm factual. Other people say I'm full of shit, but that's up to them. I don't care. I don't think that they're full of shit.
See, I'm very dry and technical when I write, so most people think I'm pissed off.
Well, you type in all caps all the time. See, that's what I get, is that I type in a lot of stuff in all caps. And I don't know why this is. I think it's stupid. This all cap. Quit yelling at me. You're all cap.
Really?
No. I do AutoCAD all day. I've done drafting all my life. 38 years I've been doing either some kind of drafting or some kind of AutoCAD.
Feels strange if it's not in uppercase.
and it's just kind of required, and it's a learned function that I do everything in uppercase. So when I send an email or a text or sometimes writing online, I get carried away.
What you should start doing is changing the color of the text.
Maybe
See, when
maybe a
I'm pissed,
pink,
it's red.
like a little pink. And it just,
When it's cool on
they
screen.
don't let you do that on Facebook. I'm surprised that they haven't come up with that yet. I mean, I think that's the new thing. They should have colored
Yeah,
text.
They should have a regular
They
word
should-
processor.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
there.
Sometimes,
You
I
know?
mean, they're
Not just
come
a
on,
word
they're-
pad or
exactly. Yeah.
notepad.
Zuckerberg, get on that, man. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're doing something.
And
like
you know
that.
what would be a really good thing?
What?
If they had a little like paperclip that came up in the corner and offered you help when you were confused.
Right. But I just wanted to let Tony know, man, or T. I just named him, but T, I'm not a racist, dude. And I think you're an incredible guy for what you do. And I wish you the best in everything you do. And I know you know, I don't know if you feel the same. I don't have any ill wills over you, man. I just wanted to let you know that no, I'm not a racist, dude. I'm discriminatory, and I'm discriminatory by the actions and the actions and words and the minds of other people. And I can't read minds, but I can read people once I start talking to you or texting with you, and I think you're a good guy. I just wanted to kind of clear the air with that. So yeah, it's been a local flavor tonight, man. It's been really good. I like talking about local things on a national level, and I know we didn't get too nationalized today with it, but we got
Yeah,
some,
a little bit.
we got
bounced up
somewhat
and down.
local. But we're gonna start, running over into a musical format here pretty soon. So February 28th, which is I think 4
4 or 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks, something like that, shows away. I'm going to have Michael Gaither here, and he's a singer-songwriter from Watsonville, California. He's going to come in here, and I'll have the studio, hopefully the facsimile of the studio built by then, and so I can have him in here so we can do some music, talk about songwriting, talk about his shows and what he does, and then I'll get into it and tell him what I do, because he knows that I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and we do open mics and we do perform outside of the box, and it's fun to do. I'm looking forward to having the musical part of the Weathered Soul podcast going to be live.
It's great to be able to talk to these guys and find out the stories behind the songs.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
what inspired them.
and Michael's got a bunch of them, man. So
he's great. He really is.
And some other stuff that we're going to start doing here, and I've kind of touched on a little bit because we touched on the shutdown and the people that are having problems with money. We're just going to start doing some budgeting stuff next, probably in the next couple of weeks. So I'll start working that in a little bit, give you a little back of what has got me to where I am today. Because like I said, before in a couple of other shows that I've been dead broke, penniless and homeless. And now here I am, and I've got a podcast, and things are looking good for me, and my family's healthy, and so we've been blessed, and I want to bless you with the same information that I got to help me through. And so we're going to be going that way with it, but we'll always be talking about the politics of the day, news of the day. We'll be talking about local stuff all the time. I welcome everybody who has downloaded this podcast. Our numbers were a little down last week, but I've got hopes that you guys will tune in and share this podcast with your friends. You can get it to you can get there to the Weathered Soul podcast at Libsyn.com, Bruce the Weathered Soul, Twitter, and Facebook. And we're going to be here every Thursday night, man. And next week, hopefully, we'll have Eddie or Tom here to the Weathered Souls to come in and add a little bit more color. So if I can get all four of us here at the same time, that'd be great. But me and Doug are going to be here for a long time. So don't you worry about that.
Always got something to say.
Say good night, Dougie.
Good night, Dougie.
Hey, for best results, squeeze from the bottom up.